Hey people! I'm a gummy bear. Yes, I'm a gummy bear. Oh, I'm a yummy gummy bear. I'm a jelly bear. And I'm a gummy bear. Oh, I'm a moving, grooving, dreaming, singing gummy bear. I'm a gummy bear. Yes, I'm a gummy bear. I am a yummy, tummy, tummy, lucky gummy bear. I'm a jelly bear. I'm a gummy bear. I'm a moving, grooving, dreaming, singing gummy bear. You got me. Three times you get I need. Gummy bear, you bear, gummy bear. I love funny, chummy, lucky, gummy bear. Yes, I'm a gummy bear. Oh, I'm a moving, grooving, jumping, singing gummy bear. Yes, I'm a gummy bear. I'm a chummy, gummy bear. 'Cause I'm a gummy bear. I'm a moving, grooving, jumping, singing gummy bear. Three times you can't find a gummy bear. A gummy bear. Yes, I'm a gummy bear. I am a yummy, tummy, funny, lucky gummy bear. I'm a jelly bear. 'Cause I'm a gummy bear. Oh, I'm moving, grooving, dreaming, singing gummy bear. Do-do-do-do-do. Gummy bear. Thanks for watching me. Okay, hope you liked that. That was for Anna Rindell because I promised her I'd do the chili song, which I will next time. But this time it was the gummy bear. Okay. Thanks for watching me talking and singing. I will have more of these if you don't mind. If you like them, comment. Post comments. Just tell me you like them. Okay? Thank you. Bye bye.